Welcome
Welcome
to
to
Shade
Shady
in the City.
City.
I'm your girl, Treese.
It's Nels.
And today we are jumping into our review of Married at First Sight. This is season 16, episode 3, Music City Matrimony. So if you guys have not already, please make sure that you have hit that like button.
And that subscribe button.
And y'all, let's get into it. Let's get into these weddings, all this fun stuff. And let's start to see how our couples are intermingling and interacting. So yeah, let's get into it and let's get shady. So we're picking up where we left off. Eris is talking to his cousin Felina before he walks down the aisle. She's still trying to convince, huh?
Your bestie.
Felina? I
That's
guess.
my homegirl, y'all.
Nah. That's your man's. Anyway, so she's still trying to convince him that he's making a very crazy and hasty decision. He seems a bit annoyed and asks her if she has any positive advice to give. And I was kind of wondering the same thing. She tells him that if he loves Black women like he says he does, then he needs to stand by that Black woman and be committed to what he says he's gonna be committed to. So Eris says he's nervous, but he's done with the streets and ready to retire from the game. So, however, if his wife is not what he expects, he contemplates if he can still change his mind. Now, Jasmine is feeling a little anxious, but she says she's ready. She wants kids, and at 32 and all these dogs, she doesn't want to be 60 and her at her kids' high school graduation. So she's ready for whoever is at the end of the aisle. Girl, no, you're not. No, you're not. So she comes down the aisle with her father, and Eris gives her a round of applause. Okay.
Yeah, he was impressed.
When she reaches the altar, he is clearly physically attracted to his wife.
After that, they sat down, they got more acquainted. He found out that she has 4 fur babies. And yeah, he's not feeling it at all. Yeah.
He basically says, like, so are we like running a shelter?
I think
that's the vibe that he's getting.
I think that was more later on when she actually let him know that it wasn't 4. It was more.
No, he does. He says it twice. That time he actually said it in confessional, but no, as we know, it's going to come up again. And he has no problem telling her to her face that he thinks this is a bit much.
I think it's a bit much. I think the 4 is a bit much.
Yeah. I hope she must have a house, because ain't no way you breeding dogs in an apartment. And if she is, he does need to call somebody.
So then we get to Dominique and McKinley.
Dominique the freak.
You're a mess. You are horrible.
Side pocket.
So they're getting ready for their wedding day. They're both super nervous and excited. Dominique says that her family is nervous, but it's because they've seen her in her previous relationships and how she usually ends up getting the short end of the stick. And they're just hoping that it doesn't happen this time. But her friend
does
Jada,
she get the short end of the stick, or does she just hop from stick to stick?
Latrice.
I'm just calling it like I see it, like they show it.
But her friend Jada thinks that she's ready for this. No, you don't, ma'am. You're damn lie.
No. So now, what I will say is, they kept talking about how they felt she was so ready because of the things that she had accomplished in her life and for her age, which I think is wonderful, but that don't mean you're ready to be married. If you haven't accomplished a successful relationship, that's like, just because you good at work, that don't mean you're gonna be good in a relationship. Like, the two things don't match.
Ain't that the same friend that was like taking little?
But we still gotta have girls' night, girl.
Well,
I mean, there's nothing wrong with girls' night. We just had one. I'm just saying.
McKinley, on the other hand, says that getting married was a lifelong dream of his, and he's looking forward to it. But he is nervous about marrying someone he's never seen, and he's concerned that, he was pretty vague with his description. So, he don't
he don't know
want
what it's gonna look like.
He don't want Shrek to be at the end of the aisle.
But he do want to make sure that she got some boobies. He did mention that he likes boobies.
He did say that. Dominique's friends and family ask her, what if he's not country and he's a city boy and he
don't like to kill bugs.
And don't kill bugs or hunt? She said, look, she drew the line not killing bugs.
That don't want to kill no bugs, trust me.
She said she drew the line there. Okay. She can accept a lot of, but look, that ain't one. Now, Dominique put on her dress. She looks extremely beautiful, but she did have some little bedazzled cowgirl boots on underneath, which I thought was cute. I thought it was cute too. Being a cowgirl.
Especially if you're gonna be in Nashville, yeah.
And she considers herself a country girl. She considers herself a tomboy.
She likes to go hunting, fishing.
It's not my thing, but to each their own.
I'm not either. You're right. To each his own.
Dominique basically says that she's going in there. She has no reservations. She's just excited. She's ready to do this thing. McKinley says that he's ready to be someone's husband. Basically, he says that he was cheated on in his last relationship. Okay. His girlfriend left him and got engaged while they were still together. But he feels that everything happens for a reason. See, I told you she was a cheater. She cheated and then hit him up like that.
Yes, she was cheating. I never said that she wasn't wrong for cheating. I'm saying,
I think you were saying,
how long was she telling you she wanted a ring before she started cheating on you?
But I don't think that's what happened. Oh. I think in reality, I think he was the side dude. I think he was the side dude. He didn't realize he was a side dude. Because remember, she showed him the ring and he's like, oh, is that the ring you want? So he seemed like he was for it. He just didn't know somebody else.
Well, I mean,
probably been there longer.
Right. He got bamboozled.
Dominique walks down the aisle and you can see the sigh of relief on McKinley's face. He is super happy.
He's like, okay, I got it back.
He see the boobs. He's like, he's smitten. Okay. And actually, she seems like she likes him too. She thinks, it looks like she's attracted to him.
I didn't get that vibe. I didn't get that vibe from her.
No.
I think she said what she thought they wanted her to say. But to me, she didn't seem overly attracted to him. Like, based off of what we seen, all the other couples, like how they reacted, she just seemed like, I'm not going to say she was disappointed, but it just seemed like, okay, I guess. Like, he's scruffy, okay, but it wasn't like.
I know she did say she likes scruffy.
Right, but I don't think she was like, oh my God.
So, they're at the altar and they're going through what the family said about one another. They both seem like, they both come from they both seem happy with what they're hearing until Dominique hears that, he likes to sit on the couch and eat snacks. She's turned up queen. What?
Did we mention, and I don't know if I'm the only one that caught this, I'm getting the vibe, and I think I said this before, maybe off camera, and I'm glad it'll come up later, but it bothered me that McKinley's mother, before, walking him down the aisle or getting him down the aisle, she basically says she would have preferred if he did it the normal way. And she just hopes that she's not too much of a diva or too bitchy. And I just thought those were interesting words to use.
But that was before she's seen her.
Right. But I just thought that was weird when you've never met anybody or seen anything, like, oh, I just hope she's not too bitchy. And
I took it as that was possibly maybe like, he's dealt with a woman that was too bitchy, or
okay.
That's how because I didn't feel like she was prejudging her since she had never seen her. And it wasn't like she got that vibe from her because she hadn't seen her. I just took it like he's dealt with women like that in the past, and I'm hoping he don't get another one like that.
Okay. See, I didn't take it like that. So, okay, cool.
So basically they both say their I do's and read their vows. he actually asked if he asked her if he could kiss her, and they kissed on the lips. I feel like it's important to, let you guys know that they did kiss on the lips after.
They have no chemistry. They were super awkward. I'm sorry. Let's just cut to the chase. There was no chemistry there. I don't know. I mean, granted, you're marrying a stranger, but we've seen everybody else, and there was just an awkwardness. But I really don't have that much on them because my whole thing is it was awkward. And he still has yet to tell her that he's living with his friend's parents.
I think he kind of slid it in there a little bit.
He said, "Oh, my friend Taylor, and oh, her family," but he said, "I'm still living there."
He said, "I'm staying there." He like slid it in there without like, he did say it, but he didn't say like, "I'm living there," or
I'm still living there. I ain't moved out. Don't know when I'm gonna move out.
Yeah, he was like, "I came there and I'm staying there," or whatever. Like,
and yeah, their age difference, it was just awkward. It was awkward. I don't know why the experts put.
But I would assume, based on his profession, he wouldn't have a problem finding a place. Maybe he's just waiting to get married so they can do that together. I don't know. Now, McKinley says that he's ready to spend the rest of their lives together, make a bunch of babies, and they go get acquainted. And Dominique doesn't even remember his name.
Oh, that was awful.
She's like Michaela, right? Yeah, ma'am. Yeah. So they sit down to get more acquainted. They find out that there is a 9-year age gap between the two. And he's like, "Is that cool?" She said she liked older men. She liked the sugar daddies.
But yet y'all had nothing to talk about. We see Chris and Nicole. I love them. Can I just say they're my favorites this season so far? So we see them taking their photos. They seem like they're a good fit. He's checking in with her, and she loves that he's so attentive and can communicate so well. We learned she has a broken finger, so they have like a weird finger thing going on.
Yeah, they did really good with this couple. Right. I don't even think they realize how well they did with this couple.
Right. Dominique and McKinley, they are super awkward again, taking their photos. She lets him know that she's always smiling, and if she's not, then there's a sign that there's a problem. And she does say, as we talked about, she likes his scruff. And he thinks that, she's beautiful and quirky. And all he sees is green flags right now. And I was like,
he loves those boobs.
Right. It's them titties. So Clint and Gina are at their reception, and she's inquiring about his sailing adventures. He likes that she's excited about traveling and loves that they have so much in common from the jump. He then asks about whether she's been married before. She tells him no. However, this leads to a long explanation about her professional life and the salon that she's currently building. And Clint wants to move past the work stuff, but loves that she's passionate about what she does. And yes, this was another one that I was like, girl, we know that you love your job.
We know that you're a boss.
Right. There has to be more to you.
And you're at your reception. We know.
Right.
So Jasmine, Jasmine and Aris, they're at their reception. She got him over there praying, y'all. Now he finds out that the food in front of him, basically,
he don't eat none of it.
He don't eat none. I would have thought that they would have, asked his diet. He said that he doesn't eat meat, chicken, like, yeah, pork.
And it was crazy because it looked like it was a pork chop in front of him or something. That was big. It was a big slab of meat. That's why I'm sitting there like, for you to not, he was sitting there. It was surprising to me that he didn't eat. I mean, he said he didn't, but whatever was in front of him was a thick cut.
I would have thought that they would have asked.
I agree. That was the first thing that popped up in my head was, why didn't nobody ask your dietary?
Yeah, that's weird.
Especially as the groom. Screw everybody else.
Right. So they also find out that they have opposite schedules. He finds out instead of 4, she actually has 13 dogs. He's super overwhelmed by that. And he said that got to be illegal. He said he's about to snitch on her. He's like, ain't there somebody I can snitch on to the county?
Not uninterested.
His face was just
mentally checked out after she said that.
I mean, literally, they're sitting up there like at their sweetheart table. She's all
And he looks
smiling and laughing. He's
wrong.
just stone face. And he told her, he's not trying to have a whole shelter in the crib. And she's like,
Straight
well,
up.
she's like, we can navigate that.
And he asked if he can report her, y'all.
Yeah.
He wants to report her. And honestly, if I find out she lives in an apartment with 13 dogs, I'm a reporter too.
You might not be the only one, actually.
Right. We calling Pete on your ass, Jasmine.
Look, people gonna see this show and be like, she did what?
Right.
You been with who? So now both Kirsten and Shaquille are both ready. They're at their reception. They're ready to take off and go take a nap.
Right.
Yes.
They bond over not liking the reception food, which I thought was cute. It's like, what is this? I don't eat that. And I thought
I think they both were like, I don't want that.
Right. And they were like, that's okay, we'll just drink. I thought that was really cute. I'm starting to see now. Well, I mean, I saw it before, but hopefully she's starting to see why the experts put them together. Because I
think she is. I think she's
coming across.
Now Kirsten, I think this is also making Kirsten feel like everything is aligning. Shaquille is impressed as well and says she's everything that he asked for, and the experts did a great job matching them together. Now the whole room starts clinking their glasses for them to kiss, and she dies.
It's reminded me of somebody I know.
Is this supposed to be shots fired? I think she initially tried to act like she didn't know what it was, right?
Mm-hmm.
What that mean?
Like, what are they doing? Are they giving a toast? What are they doing? And everybody's like, no, kiss. And she's like, oh no. Why? They gonna stop. They gonna stop. Just don't even pay him attention. And he doesn't know why she doesn't want to kiss, but he's still very respectful of her boundaries and says that he realizes, what did he say? I love a virtuous woman. I said, go ahead, Shaq.
But at this point, I think it has more to do with the fact that she just wants him to ask.
Yes, she did say that.
Yeah. Now, Chris and Nicole are sitting down at their reception, and of course, they're yapping.
They're talking each other's heads off.
They are just yapping away. Okay. But it doesn't seem to bother Chris at all. And he says that they're both talkers. The room starts clinking their glasses. I've never seen this on Married at First Sight. I don't know, but
they do that every wedding.
On Married at First Sight?
They do it at every wedding. You always see them trying to get them to kiss. They do it every wedding. That's why I never seen it at a real wedding until I started watching Married at First Sight. I've never, no wedding that I've attended have I seen.
Maybe I just never really paid attention to it. Or maybe they didn't put that much attention.
Because nobody had to force them to kiss each other.
I guess.
That's why it stands out to you now.
And of course they kiss because Nicole ain't got no problem sticking her tongue down her man's throat. Okay. Now, a family member from each couple got up and shared things, that they want to talk about the spouses, and they all show their dance moves, and they had some cake, and that was interrogation time. Okay. Kirsten's friends are asking Shaq why he wanted to get married at first sight. He said he's a God-fearing man, and he asked for signs that this is for him. And he said he prayed on it, and God showed him the signs, and he knows that this is where this moment is for him.
Okay, so let me just say this. Shout out to Auntie's advice. I love when she said, I'm gonna need these couples to stop trying to use God as a way to because God gives you free will. So let's stop trying to make this and say that Jesus led us to this decision. Please and thank you as a fellow Christian. Thank you.
Well, I guess just like Auntie, okay. The friends are still skeptical.
Right.
They ain't buy that shit. Okay.
They're like, everybody seems nice at first.
Right. And they feel like he's
they plan on barbecuing his ass.
Right. She said that he's still a stranger and he's giving politician answers.
Dominic meets McKinley's mom, Linda, and his sister, Miley. We learned his mom obviously didn't support this, but his sister, Miley, was his biggest cheerleader. Dominic brings up her race and how she was nervous that it would be a thing for her new husband's family.
By the way, Dominique's mom's name is Toya.
Thank you. She says she just wants to be accepted. His mother skips over that and tells her it's okay, you just got married. She never addressed. To me, there was nothing that she said that would have made me feel more comfortable and feel like you accepted the fact that I'm Black. Then her mother, Toya, asked McKinley if race is going to be an issue because they're Black 100%. Okay. And he reassures them that it won't be an issue. But her mother said, we've all met people who were nice. But people thought Jeffrey Dahmer was nice. And, she's going to keep her eye on him. And I don't know, for some reason, I hate saying this. I'm not going to say it on camera, but I if you know, you know. I'm thinking that they might not be as friendly to us as they're projecting on TV. But that's just my thoughts. Now, so Eris meets with Taylor, Emmy, and Krista, and Jasmine's sisters. He asks about, is she a good communicator? And her sister Emmy goes to the bar and says she's
like, I'm gonna go get a drink on this one.
Right. So Taylor lets him know that Jasmine will shut down if she thinks it will cause confrontation. Her sister feels that she needs someone to kind of put her in her place. And he tells them, he's been in a relationship, but has never lived with anyone and is an only child. So he's kind of used to having his space. Her sister warns him that their family is big and to, not be too intimidated. And Jasmine meets with Felina and the mama. I don't even know why the mother was there. She didn't even say nothing. Felina did all the talking.
She was probably there to be a mediator if need be.
She didn't mediate nothing. So that's what I said in my notes. Her mom don't say nothing, and Felina is doing all the talking. She tells her that she thought it was completely crazy and out of the blue for her cousin to make this decision. And basically, she's like, is there, anything that you've learned in this process about yourself that you can work on? Can I just tell you, I did not like, again, I think I said this. I don't mind. I am the protective cousin. I am. But this is overboard. It's giving, I don't think I can say this word on Instagram without getting probably taken down, but it's giving kissing cousins. That's all I'm going to say. So, basically, what's the girl name? I'm sorry. Jasmine tells her that, she can be stubborn. And if she doesn't understand why something is going a certain way, she will question it, but she's working on it. And Felina thinks that she's from the pageant world and she has an answer for everything and don't really feel she's genuine. I don't feel you're genuine, Felina.
So
I don't know. I just don't like her energy. Like, she does not know the girl. If anything, your cousin, but to come at the girl like that when your cousin is the one that's an F-boy, how dare you? And not to mention that you had your falling out your dress coming to your cousin's wedding. You could have picked something more appropriate.
So Gina's friends are talking with Clint and want to know what makes him worthy and ready to be married. He said he's ready because he's done the dating thing for a long time and learned so much from each person, and they helped him grow as a person. That, I don't know. And I think he said something about he took a piece of them with him. And sir, you doing most. How many people was it that he messed with? 40, 60?
No. It was in the 50s, I thought. It was in the 50s, 60s.
Sir, that's nasty. That sounds like you need some therapy. Okay. And, basically he says that now he's in a super solid place to have an enduring relationship. So they ask what he's excited about for later tonight when they get alone. She's like, watch yourself. Watch how you answer this, sir. And he lets her know that, he's just ready to get to know her. Okay. On a whole nother level. And he says, he's a sexual creature, but he wants something sustainable and doesn't want it to be revolving around sex. Sure, sir. Sure. Now, Nicole sat down with her bridal party and just explaining how excited she is and what a great man she's married to. And, from what she can tell so far, she's just happy. She is a happy little bliss. Okay. Hey, Chris sat down with Nicole's father, Mark. And he lets him know basically his biggest concern is how he's going to treat his daughter.
Right.
And he doesn't know anything about him and lets him know that, in arranged marriages, basically you at least know the family.
Right.
I don't know nothing. I don't know nothing about y'all.
I don't know nothing about you.
Okay. And this is totally a leap of faith. But Chris says, he's a loyal person and he knows that they may argue and not agree sometimes, but it's important to hear each other out. Mark asked him if he's ready for marriage because right now it's all fun and games, but life gets in the way. But if you do it the right way, then it's for the rest of your life. Let me say something. Daddy was not feeling Chris at all. But I don't even know. You saw what?
You don't think so?
No. But I don't think it's
that he was just being a dad. I think that he was trying to give him like that, a scare you conversation, but at the same time,
I felt like it was a little bit more than that, but I don't think it's because of Chris. I think it's because of the people she's had in her past, that she's dealt with in her past.
True.
Now, Dominique lets her friends know that when she kissed her boo, okay, it was awkward. But she doesn't think, anything's going down tonight. McKinley's friends
asked him to establish a connection.
McKinley's friends asked him if he feels, that he'll seal the deal tonight. And, he's like, it's strictly up to her. He don't think so. He know it ain't going down. Chris' friends asked him if he's going to consummate the marriage. And he says, he doesn't think so. But it's not his concern anyway. The chemistry and the connection and the attraction is there. So maybe the honeymoon. Nicole tells her friends that she doesn't want sex getting in the way of them getting to know each other because once you start having sex, you keep having sex. And she doesn't want to rush it.
Yeah, don't be like Lindsay and Mark shutting it on and shutting it off like a light switch. Because then she'll get angry.
Jasmine lets her sisters know that she gives her husband a 9.5 because, he's fine, but ain't nobody perfect. And she didn't really feel butterflies when they kissed, but she is still happy that he kissed her. Eris said, if Beyonce's a 10, his wife is a solid 8. And his friends let him know that's a terrible answer. Don't you ever say no like that again.
Right.
Okay? Your wife is a 10. Always a 10. Take heed to it, sir.
They gave you good advice.
Jasmine thinks about giving up the goods on the honeymoon. He says his ideal night for tonight is her getting on her knees. Go ahead. Go on and do Shakira. Sure.
So Shaq reflects with his boys about how Kirsten turned her cheek to him. But his boys say that, they actually respected that his wife did that. They actually see what he sees and, think she's just as virtuous as Shaq does. So Kirsten tells her girls that she was a little deterred by him not asking for a kiss. And his friends warn him about getting caught up in the friend zone. They're like, look, bruh, I understand you want to respect boundaries, but don't get caught up and then she's not viewing you how you want her to view you. And then y'all not, I hate to say it, don't end up like Jasmina and Michael. Kirsten says that she was more impressed that he checked all the boxes and thinks that, eventually she'll kind of open up and, think about giving him some sort of affection, but it's giving very Jasmina Michael energy. Now, Dom finally learns her husband's name by the end of the night. That's all I have about her. Chris and Nicole talk about what side of the bed they're going to sleep on. And he's willing to give her whatever side to make her happy. They're getting very close, and Nicole is here for it. I'm here for it too. It was so cute. He's just like, whatever side you want, baby. Whatever makes you happy. He don't even care that the dog is going to be sleeping in the damn bed with them. 2 dogs, it sounds like. But hey, you know, whatever makes y'all happy. And Nicole is just happy to be able to wake up to her husband. Chris thinks everything is very natural with Nicole, and Nicole says, you know, she could see herself falling in love with him. And that was that, y'all. It was very cute. Like I said, I think I'm going to get one of my predictions right. Chris and Nicole. I don't think that's going to change, but we'll see based on how they show these previews and upcoming episodes. It's looking a little
sketch.
It's looking a little sketch.
It's making us feel like we're wrong.
I knew Clint. I told y'all from the first one, I knew Clint was a little bit of an F-boy, but I think he's going to show us as we get deeper into the season how much of an F-boy he can be.
Mm-hmm.
He might make Eris actually look good. But yeah, y'all. So thank you so much for tuning into our review. If you have not already, please make sure that you hit that like button.
You comment.
You subscribe.
And hit the notification bell.
And please make sure that you are following us on all platforms. That's Facebook, Twitter, IG, and the TikTok. And yeah, make sure you catch our restaurant reviews. Leave your comments. Give us some likes. We appreciate it. And yeah, y'all, we'll catch you next week for another episode of Married at First Sight. Have a good one. Bye-bye.